UPTV Burundi.
This is the App TV Burundi online TV on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and all social media platforms. Please follow us. App TV Burundi, together we can.
They knew who we were, that we were the descendants of Jacob, and they knew Africa was the promised land. In the 15th century, there were forced conversions to Christianity, and in the year 1434, the Pope issued a bull threatening excommunication for the enslavement of Christian converts. However, in 1442, Pope Eugene, in response to a request from Prince Henry the Navigator of Portugal, issued a bull, which declared Portuguese expeditions down the coast of Africa to be a crusade and allowed the taking of slaves in that endeavor. This marked the beginning of the European involvement in the slave trade, which they soon took from the Arabs, and it was those Arabs who told them that these are the people of the book. All invaders from that time have mapped Africa, which is the biblical Canaan and the Promised Land. The Catholic Church knew who we were, and now that Africa is waking up, we encourage them to obey God's word concerning the land, so you can come up out of the curse. The Most High knows of no land called Africa. To him, Africa is the promised land. And it was there that his son was born, and ministered in the cities of Judah outside of Jerusalem. He was born in Bethlehem. Bethlehem is in South Africa. Now it came to pass that the family was forced to flee from the face of Herod, and he was an Amalekite, and enemy of Jacob. This was the same Herod the Great who had built a winter palace near Jericho in East Africa. Then, after a few years, the Messiah left Egypt and settled in Nazareth, which corresponds to present-day Gabon. There the Messiah was abiding under the shadow of the Almighty, because Gabon sits on the equator, and so does Mount Zion, where he was watched over by his Father and an innumerable company of angels. His first miracle was at the wedding in Cana. Cana is in West Africa, and Lazarus, whom the Messiah raised from the dead, lived in Bethany. Bethany is in South Africa, northwest of Jerusalem and Beersheba. The Messiah, Melchizedek, Abraham, all of these men lived in Africa, and there has been a worldwide conspiracy to keep the identity of the people and the land secret, but they didn't reckon on the power of God to speak to millions of hearts, revealing to them their true identity, thus beginning an overthrow of the great deception. Let's have a brief talk about this place they call Negro Land. God knows of no region in the Promised Land called Negro Land. The Arabs and Europeans tended to rename places and people to conceal their identity, and to hide the fact that they were living on stolen land. It was the Arabs who called the land Bilad as-Sudan, land of the blacks, even though they knew they were the sons of Jacob. Historically, the term Negro, literally meaning black, was used by the Spanish and Portuguese to describe persons of black African heritage. The children of Jacob in the U.S. especially should shun the word Negro because it is a tool designed to conceal truth. 90% of the people they call Negro in the U.S. are Hebrews, and the Arabs and Europeans know only too well that the real name of Negro land is Yahudi. Furthermore, they have sought to mislead us in their Bible dictionaries, saying that Ham is the progenitor of the dark races. By dark races, they mean brown people like the fake versions of Nefertiti or Tutankhamun. These texts fooled many Hebrews into thinking that these Bible dictionaries were admitting that the Ethiopians, Egyptians, Canaanites, and Libyans were black, but they were not. Suddenly Ham, who according to the Talmud was cursed by God with black skin, has suddenly become brown, to justify brown ownership of North Africa. They think we are like children, but we know things that they could not tell us. Jacob knows the location of God's house, and judgment begins at the house of God. The Most High describes the nations that surround his house as his evil neighbors, and this is what he says: "Against all my evil neighbors who touch the inheritance which I have given to my people Israel to inherit. Behold, I will pluck you out of their land and pluck out the house of Judah from among you." Now because they named Yahudi Negro land, let us take our revenge by revealing the names of the Hebrews the Portuguese kidnapped from Africa. So you can see they were a people called by his name.
In case this is making you wonder if Russia has its own twist on biblical figures. The answer is a no. This is not the case at all. This is, a matter of fact, as real as the untouched horizon of time. There's been so much debate going on around the world of late, bestirred by the unveiling of these black biblical icons. Some tend to think that the icons had blackened over time due to age, while others say that the blackness of the icons has nothing to do with age but are a measure of accuracy meant to depict the actual color of the skins of the people painted. Because they were black people, says Robert Rubin. Why didn't their clothes change to black in those paintings or all of the paintings? The true Israelis were black-skinned people, not white. Likewise, the ancient Egyptians.
Regarding Jesus and Mary, there are many depictions of them being melanated. Reason being, the Byzantine Orthodox Church knew very well what Judeans and their earlier forefathers, descendants of Hebrews, looked like. This is a mural from 700 BC found in Nineveh. It commemorates the victory of the Assyrian Empire over Judah during the siege of Lachish, where thousands of Judeans were taken captive. This mural shows us how Judeans of that time looked like. These men are sporting afros. It is very likely that they were melanated, similar to ancient Egyptians. Regarding Russian history itself, we see numerous melanated figures. This is an early 14th century Russian icon depiction of Duke Theodore Rostislavich, nicknamed Theodore the Black, ruler of Yaroslavl and Smolensk. Theodore was nicknamed Theodore the Black due to his swarthy complexion. Yaroslavl and Smolensk were both Russian regions ruled by him. He was a prominent figure of the politics in medieval Russia. While this is an icon painting of Prince Alexander Nevsky, ordered in the 1800s, it's currently kept in Moscow. Nevsky was Prince of Novgorod, Grand Prince of Kiev, and Grand Prince of Vladimir, commonly regarded as a key figure in medieval Russian history.